The Afrikaners, who were the majority of South Africa's white population, were chafing under British rule. The anger the Afrikaners felt after the Anglo-Boer War was still fresh in their minds. The genocide committed against them filled the Afrikaners with nationalism. And it was this nationalism that led to the popularity of the National Party. The National Party was an Afrikaner nationalist party and slowly grew in popularity among Afrikaner voters. But something else was stirring in the minds of both Afrikaans and English voters. Swart gevaar. Whites were growingly worried about South Africa's black majority. After World War II, decolonization was spreading across the world, and black activism was growing all across Africa, including South Africa. Whites feared that European civilization was at risk of being swallowed by African nationalism. So when the National Party started talking about their policy of apartheid, its popularity started soaring, and in the 1948 election, the NP was victorious. And this was the beginning of apartheid South Africa. Although discrimination was nothing new in South Africa, apartheid was an extreme new system of segregation. South Africa's four main racial groups, whites, blacks, Indians, and coloureds, were separated indefinitely in every part of life, from where you could live to what bench you could sit on. But the grand plan of apartheid was the Bantu system. In an attempt to forever divide South Africa, the National Party created 10 tribal homelands for South Africa's 9 black tribes, the Xhosa people getting 2. These homelands were led by tribal leaders and were made with the intent of turning black South Africans into foreigners in white South Africa and into citizens of their Bantustans. Many of the Bantustans slowly gained self-rule, and a few even independence. The leaders of these Bantustans relied mostly on the apartheid government for money and aid, while the citizens of the Bantustans were impoverished and relied mostly on friends and relatives working in white South Africa. These blacks, living and working outside the Bantustans, lived mostly on the outskirts of white cities, in massive worker hostels and ghettos known as townships. But with the implementation of apartheid and the homelands, it may have slowed down black activism, but it did not extinguish it. This brings us to the ANC. The African National Congress was founded in 1912 and spent its early years campaigning for the rights of black South Africans, but by the 1950s, it started getting more confrontational. One of the ANC's main leaders was Nelson Mandela. He led the charge in a civil disobedience campaign in 1952. An important ally of the ANC was the South African Communist Party. The SACP was a firm ally of the ANC. Many of the ANC's leaders were communists as well. And in 1955, the ANC published the Freedom Charter, a list of their goals, and some of these goals were explicitly communist. With the Cold War in full swing, this triggered a fear in South Africa: rooi gevaar. The National Party was extremely anti-communist. It had already banned the Communist Party in 1950, and with the ANC stirring up more and more trouble, the government began cracking down more hard on the organization. After the Freedom Charter, a large section of the ANC split off to form the Pan-Africanist Congress. The PAC was made up of disgruntled ANC members who did not believe in non-racialism. The PAC was growing in strength and looked like it might overtake the ANC and the communists. By the beginning of the 1960s, tensions were sky high. The ANC and the PAC had only gotten more confrontational in the face of government crackdowns, and the apartheid government believed it was not cracking down hard enough. Tensions would explode on the 21st of March, 1960, in the south of Joburg, in the township of Sharpeville.